Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, Personal Pension Radio kicking off. Glad to be back. I've actually taken a couple of weeks here with the podcast episodes where I have let a gap week in the middle. I feel like a college student. I had a gap week, instead of a gap semester or gap year. I actually took some time with family and enjoying the new year and busy with 2019 planning and activities. So glad to be back. Episode number 188. I'm going to hit 200 episodes this year. That is amazing. Thank you so much for all the support, the continued downloads, the feedback on iTunes, the reviews, the emails. Keep them coming. I love the questions. I love the feedback. Thank you so much for the support. If you're new to the show, you can always email me, Kraig with a K, Kraig, at kraigstrom.com. You're always welcome to email me there. That is the best way to get in touch with me. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. Heck, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. If you spell my name correctly and search Google for Kraig Strom, I usually come up on the first 5 pages or so of Google, thanks to my unique spelling, Kraig with a K. I am a certified financial planning professional broadcasting from the Personal Pension Radio Workshop here in Southern California. Yes, this is my workshop. I actually am a hobby woodworker. Pretty accomplished, I have to say. Check out my Facebook page if you'd like to take a look at my latest project. I was able to give my daughter her Christmas present a little bit late because she actually came out to visit after the Christmas and New Year's holiday. She came out from Flagstaff where she's going to college, and I was able to give her Christmas gift a little late, but it was just one of my favorite. I haven't done a really beautiful artsy project in a long time, so I made her a keepsake box. And yes, that is what I do in my workshop when I'm not recording a podcast. I'll do woodworking and cabinetry. That is my therapy. I do love to do that kind of stuff. As a certified financial planner, though, I also love to help people with that retirement dream, the retirement dream of maximum lifestyle income. And someday, can I sell my business or retire from my job and actually have a lifestyle where I don't have to get up and go to work every day? I love that conversation. That is why I am known as the income engineer, because I'm a geek for this stuff. Please, if you have any questions about your personal situation, financially or otherwise, maybe I can help. I don't know. I always tell folks my New Year's resolution, one of them this year, was just to be helpful, right? Just to be as helpful as I can to make a great connection whenever possible. But if you have questions about your own personal financial situation, your own retirement, your own questions around business plans, financial plans, 401k plans, life insurance, investment account review, Roth IRAs, disability insurance, long-term care planning, all of those things are in my wheelhouse. What many people don't know, and something that is actually new for me as an announcement in 2019, is that I also work with a phenomenal law firm, and I am a paralegal working in conjunction with the attorneys at my law firm. I'm actually a paralegal certified financial planning professional, right? That is something that I want to make sure that everybody understands, that if you have questions about your living trusts and wills and things like that, I'm going to get into that a little bit today. Please feel free. Send those questions in, Kraig at kraigstrom.com, and I, of course, will make the necessary connections to the attorneys in my firm. I always will help to gather all the information and go through the specifics and make sure that I put you in touch with the right people. But please keep that in mind. If you need help or have questions, I am here for you. My goal is to help you step out of the conventional wisdom line that most people have been told to stand in. That idea that Wall Street, Main Street says this is the way we're supposed to do it. The bad advice from financial entertainers and so many people out there in the financial world just drives me nuts. I feel like this lone voice in the wilderness saying, hey, wait a second. That is not the way it's supposed to be done. Optimizing retirement income, for example, does not happen with a product. Yet again, I met someone recently that was told that a particular kind of life insurance was the solution to their retirement planning problem. And that is totally bogus. I call BS. I'm a huge life insurance fan. Just so you know, I'm a big life insurance fan. Cash value, term, the whole deal. However, maximum retirement income does not happen with a product. Investments or life insurance or real estate or 401k or annuities, Roth IRAs, none of these things by themselves will help you optimize your retirement income. You must have an integrated approach. All of those things can have a place in the plan, but they have to be working together. They have to be balanced properly. That's where I picked up the title, The Income Engineer, because I love the strategy that goes into putting that all together, the engineering that goes into that. Now, quick disclosure so I don't forget, I am not an attorney, although I might be a paralegal at a law firm. I am not a certified public accountant. I am a certified financial planning professional. All that being said, and as cool as this microphone makes my voice sound, please don't act on things that you hear on this show as if you're hearing advice for you specifically. And please, dear goodness me, don't act on things that you hear from financial entertainers on the radio or podcast or TV. Please meet with a qualified financial planner. I would love that qualified financial planner to be me. And I've met with many of my listeners because the miracles of technology make the world very small. We can meet with a Zoom meeting or a GoToMeeting virtually anywhere. So please don't hesitate. Send me an email, craig@craigstrom.com, and I would love to chat with you. Let's talk about your specific situation. Now, I want to start with a deal of the week. A deal of the week, and the deal of the week is really around my quest. It's my personal quest for lifestyle deflation. Lifestyle deflation. I want to find a way, whenever I can, to live well and enjoy life without paying retail, without paying full price. Is there a way to really still have a great life and enjoy life without just getting sucked into the marketing and merchandising mentality that permeates our culture? That's my goal. I want lifestyle deflation if I can. Now, this week's deal of the week came from my daughter, Madeline. My daughter, Madeline, gave me the best Christmas present. Yes, it was late. As I mentioned, she worked through Thanksgiving and Christmas because she works in the hospitality industry. So she just worked. And she didn't come home for the holidays. She didn't come home from Flagstaff to California because it's a 5 or 6 hour drive, right? So she was able to come back before she goes back to school this coming week. My gift from her was a new pair of comfy, furry slippers. And the best part, and I'm wearing them right now in my shop, the best part was the price. My daughter paid 49 cents for my slippers, which were originally more than $20. I am so proud. I know it sounds wonky or geeky, but how cool is it that my daughter actually listened? She actually knows that I really look for the deal. I really appreciate finding a great value, and she actually does that for herself, but she also did it for me. She actually left the price tag on the box because she knew how much I would appreciate the great deal she got on my new comfy slippers. So I actually kind of smile whenever I put on my slippers now, that it's just so cute and so cool that she remembered that. That was really cool. So that's my deal of the week, is my comfortable slippers for 50 cents. That is awesome. All right, now I want to start out with watch your step next. Okay, well, start out. I already started out. The next section here is watch your step. Last week, or the last episode, I did mention like the market, the investment market, the stock market is like out there requesting clearance for landing, like it's coming in for a landing. I have been promoting this protectionist position in regards to the investment markets for several years. Just reminding people, please, the rules of investing. Buy it cheap with other people's money if you can, in the case of real estate, and in a good market. A good market is one where you might actually have a hope to go up, right? So this week I want to remind you again, the markets, investment markets in general, whether it's the stock market or the real estate market or whatever market, you know what? How about this? How about the tuna market? The tuna market. Listen to this. Just recently, this was in the news this week, the record price for a single tuna fish was paid, I believe it was a Japanese fishery at the fish market. A owner of a Japanese sushi restaurant chain paid over, are you ready? Over $3 million for one fish. $3 million for one tuna fish. Folks, when I say the markets, plural, are crazy, that's crazy money. That is crazy money, that there's that kind of money out there being thrown at a single fish, right? Before you jump into any investment, please consult a certified financial planner. Look over your own specific situation in detail. Make sure that you have a plan. Make sure that you have a firm grasp on your retirement income plan, your journey. Remember that making zero is better than losing 20% every day of the week. There's no competition there. If you make zero, that is better than losing 20%, period. Okay? And please be patient, but don't be complacent. Don't just sit there and go, oh, ho hum. This is a really tough time if you just sit back and don't pay attention. It's really critical that you actually pay attention and get some advice. Connect with a certified financial planner. I'd love to help. I'm here to help. Now, this next segment, the second segment of my show, has always been listener questions and my own personal observations. Today, it's going to be my own personal observations. Last episode, I actually shared my car buying tips and tricks. If you want my car buying tips and tricks, don't forget, just send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com, and just say car tips in the email subject line. I'll send you back the full list of my car tips and tricks. You can also go back and listen to episode 187 for a summary of some of those. Now, this week, though, I want to get back to basics. I want to get back to basics, and I want to help you get back to basics. Remember this. When you look at your financial life, it can be very daunting and overwhelming. But if you really think about just a good old-fashioned castle, think about a good old-fashioned castle, and how did they build a good old-fashioned castle? They started with protection first. They built a castle in a place where they could protect it. Then they built a strong foundation. In the financial world, that is savings, liquidity, money in the bank, cash you can get your hands on. So what if we're not earning a big rate of return? Remember, if you're earning zero, it's better than losing 20%. And boy, isn't it fantastic to have cash when the market crashes. Guess who gets to buy in low? Those people who have cash. So protection of the castle first, strong foundation, savings, And then we build, then growth, then we start putting up the walls and the roof. That's the investment side of things. Build your castle, your financial house in that order, and you'll be golden. I'm not selling gold. I'm just saying you'll be golden. Build it in that order. Protection, savings, and growth. Too many advisors are selling growth first. And these are financial planners sometimes, CFPs. They're like, buy this investment, buy that investment. The one that bugs me the most, buy this life insurance and you'll get all three. Really? You'll get protection, savings, and growth from one single product? That's amazing. Where do I sign? BS. It doesn't work that way, folks. It doesn't work that way. Start with protection first. Here's some good examples. Car and home insurance. If you rent, get renter's insurance. If you've never had someone like me, a protection first financial planner, review your car insurance, I challenge you today. Email me. Send me a copy of your declaration pages. Let's talk. I don't sell car insurance, but I will always do my best to help you and make sure that you have the right protection for your car and home and rental, right? Make sure that your property and your car insurance has liability coverage, right? Don't forget umbrella coverage, but don't rely on umbrella liability to protect you from all attacks. Don't rely on that. Remember, punitive damages are often not covered by a standard home or auto or umbrella policy. I heard a story this weekend of a man sadly convicted of DUI. He had a car accident. He was convicted of DUI. His insurance paid for the damages to the other vehicles and apparently some of the hospital bills for people in the car that he hit, but he was not covered for the $250,000 punitive damages judgment award handed down against him. $250,000. The insurance company says, no, we don't cover, we cover civil liabilities and such, but we don't cover punitive damages. Check your car and home insurance, folks. Remember, you got one page of things that the insurance covers and like 500 pages of the things that insurance doesn't cover. Punitive damages is often one of them. If you own a business or rental property, make sure the business and the rental property are held in the proper entities, right? Many people think they can just go out and get a LegalZoom limited liability corporation, or I'll form my corporation in Nevada and I'll do this and that. But I am here to tell you, please do not chance it. LegalZoom will not be in the courtroom defending you if an attacker comes your way. Folks, you go out and you buy some people. I say you. People go out and buy some of the most valuable assets ever, rental properties. They start businesses that turn out to be their most valuable financial asset, and then they go half in with, I'll just save a few bucks on LegalZoom and I'll get an LLC and I'm golden. No, you're not. You are not. I am here to tell you, I work with one of the best asset protection law firms in the country. And I'm here to tell you countless times that I have talked to people and that we as a firm have talked to people who thought they were protected and they were blown out of the water. They were just blown out of the water. They had no idea how bad their LegalZoom business structures were, how bad their contracts were. They had no idea. Folks, please remember my offer. I work as a paralegal in addition to being a financial planner on the other side of the house, but I work as a paralegal with my law firm. I'm here to help. Please, if you have questions, bring those questions to me and I can make sure that we get the proper legal consultation to make sure that you're okay, right? Just to make sure that it's right. Don't leave it to chance. Please, don't leave it to chance. Protect your family. This is a big, huge one. This is actually something that happened recently that just reminded me I've got to get your attention with this. Protect your family from the misery of going through probate to settle your estate. If you're older and you still don't have your living trust, please pay attention. If you're younger and you haven't talked to your parents about their living trust and wills and powers of attorney and such, please have that conversation now, right? Here's what I tell people. When do you need to think about getting a living trust? Well, if you own real estate, if you own anything valuable over $100,000, you should have a living trust if you actually love your children and you love your family. If you do not like your kids, if you don't like your family, don't get a living trust, because life sucks if your kids have to deal with your estate and you don't have a living trust. Life sucks. It's not good. In California, it's terrible. It can take 18 months to settle an estate in California, and it can cost tens of thousands of dollars. So the only reason you'd really want to get a living trust is that you actually love your children, you love your family, and you don't want to put them through that, right? Stop putting this off. I can help. I absolutely can help. I actually was thinking about this really hard today. I met a nice lady this weekend who needed help selling a couple of old cars that her mom had left behind when she died. They were in her garage, right? Rebecca has a great realtor who's a friend of mine, and the realtor knows that I have a lot of car connections. So I met with Rebecca at her mom's house, and I was able to find her some good connections for the cars. I asked her if her mom had a living trust, and she smiled. She said, "Thank goodness, yes." She said that she had other relatives who had passed away, and their families went through a nightmare settling the estates. She was so grateful that her mom had a living trust. It made the process of selling the house and the cars and everything else so much easier. Okay? Now, final piece of protection that I'm going to talk about, because today is really going to be focused on protection. Everybody knows how to do a savings account. We can talk about investments for 10 hours and not even be close to it, because most of the investment world likes to talk about, remember, invest, 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 and nobody ever talks about protection. So let's focus on this. The final piece of protection I want you to pay close attention to is to have the right type and the right amount of life insurance in place. On my way to visit Rebecca today, as I'm recording this, I saw a lady with a sign out on the sidewalk in front of a mortuary. She and apparently family members were having a car wash to raise money for a loved one's funeral. It breaks my heart to see this, but it also frustrates me. When I started in this business, in the financial world, 20 plus years ago, I was helping people with funeral expense insurance. I started out in a very basic sales position. I wasn't a CFP way back when. I sold funeral expense insurance. It was specific coverage for a specific thing to make sure that a person's family did not have to suffer the indignity of standing on the sidewalk holding a car wash to pay for cremation or burial for their departed family member. Folks, my gosh, that just kills me, right? For a relatively small amount of money, people can buy a policy that would cover their funeral. For a relatively small amount of money, people can buy policies, life insurance that pays off mortgages, that pays off college loans, that actually will leave money behind so that families can be together and be okay for a relatively small amount of money. I still remember the day that I was called by the family of a client who had purchased funeral insurance from me. This is so long ago. I thought about it today. I hadn't thought about Eduardo in a long time. But I still remember the day that his family contacted me. and asked me to come to the house. They called me to the home where I had sold the policy to their dad. And I had not seen Eduardo in almost a year. I had seen him a year prior where I'd stopped by to say hello. He's a very nice guy. And Eduardo was now in the living room on hospice care, non-responsive. He had contracted cancer. I believe he had contracted pancreatic cancer, which was very much like, that was my dad. That's what got my dad. I was able to tell the family that Eduardo had already paid for his funeral by purchasing life insurance. And he had purchased enough life insurance that he was going to be able to leave some money behind in addition to the funeral being covered. I helped them make a few phone calls. We called the mortuary. We made sure that there was a plan in place that, things would be ready. I didn't realize it, but it was just that bad. Eduardo died later that afternoon. The memory of that day is still vivid. The family was about to lose their father and a husband, and they did not have to stress over the financial burden that a funeral. They didn't have to worry about being on the street corner